It appears that the long drawn-out battle between Nigeria and the malaria-causing mosquito has reached a bump in the road. The Director General of the Nigerian Institute of Medical Research announced that mosquitoes have become resistant to insecticides and insecticide-treated nets in Lagos, Ogun, Oyo, Kwara and Niger states. He, however, went on to explain measures being taken to address the situation. In this edition of Focus on Health, our correspondent, Malaria tells the story.
Over the years, Anopheles mosquitoes, malaria-causing agents, like many other organisms, developed resistance to drugs due majorly to non-compliance to regimens and the production of substandard medication or fake drugs. But today, the Nigerian Institute of Medical Research has found a slightly different twist to the story.
They have both resistance to the insecticide that has been prescribed by the WHO for use and the ones that are put in the net. Although that same insecticide is still very effective in other states.
How this resistance came about? Investigations put the blame on resistant mosquitoes which flew in from neighboring Benin Republic through the Idiroko border. But the Institute, after years of research, funded by the World Health Organization, came up with an intervention consisting of a combination drug, which has been found to be effective against the vectors in the 5 states.
Synergies is something that can reduce resistance in the mosquitoes, that will make the mosquito to be susceptible to pyrethroids. They are resistant to pyrethroids, but if you use synergies, it will remove the mechanism of resistance, so they become susceptible.
With the synergistic chemicals, the vector control is going to be much, much better, and chances of resistance developing is much, much reduced than using a single chemical.
Earlier in the year, Ghana, Kenya and Malawi qualified for a new malaria vaccine trial to commence in 2018. Nigeria did not make the cut, partly because sites were not characterized.
We have malariologists, we have entomologists, we have social scientists that will look on a comprehensive view of the environment so that at any time, any scientist can go there and say, oh, I want to implement this research. That has not been existent before. So this is an area where we think we should invest some funding, and hopefully in the coming years it will be a site that will be qualified to do clinical trial, for instance.
As far back as 2009, countries like Mauritius and the Bahamas had not had any malaria activity for 10 years. What then could be the handicap to malaria elimination in Nigeria?
Everything has to be in combination. Most of them know what we do in malaria eradication program in Nigeria is more of a broken house approach. What you are doing in flat A, I don't know in flat B. What you are doing in the dining room, I don't know in the sitting room. So at the end of the day, it's not cohesive. We do not have collective approach to it.
These are all capacities and capabilities that researchers in NIMA, especially in the field of malaria, possess. And we can work well with other researchers in other universities in Nigeria.
In the meantime, experts say barrier methods such as the bed net would still be effective because it separates the mosquito from the human being once he is enclosed within the net. Cleaning of the environment to get rid of breeding sites would also help keep the mosquito population and thus malaria incidence down. Mary Alale Yusuf, Channels Television News.
And for the day's top business stories, here's Anne Nwaldo.
Thanks a lot, Millicent, and welcome to Business News. Finance experts have been speaking on how government can tackle the nation's inflation rate, which currently stands at 17.2%. At a forum organized by the Debt Management Office in Abuja to celebrate the outgoing Director General, Dr. Abraham Nwankwo, experts say fiscal discipline on the part of government executives and policymakers can help curb the nation's inflation rate.
of the unbundling that has not gone right. You know, the thing is, how then does both the financial monetary authorities support this sector so that we can get 24/7 by all means within the next 18 months? That's critical to reducing the inflationary pressures in the economy.
Fiscal discipline, I'm worried because there seems to be lack of synergy between the federal authority and the state governments. One tends to get more worried, because we have these political cycles. As election approaches, issues of fiscal discipline, will come up and they become even more important. We've not yet forgotten what has happened in the 2015 election. We're still, seeing the ramifications of that. And certainly, this is the time to put policies in place that will counter the sort of, issues that we always get back to during these political cycles.
In commemoration of its 50th anniversary in West Africa, the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, IITA, will support private companies to boost agribusiness. The Deputy Director General of Partnerships and Delivery, Dr. Pt.3, said this when he visited the Nigerian Stock Exchange with his team.
The reason we're here today is because we see agriculture as a business. It should no longer be a family enterprise that is for survival. It should be, and it is transforming into a business all across Nigeria. There's a lot of enthusiasm from private investors, and we really are looking forward to helping them. IITA is a research organization that develops the technologies that can make agribusiness highly, highly profitable. When farmers get 10 tons of cassava per hectare per year, that is guaranteed poverty. But when a business follows the right guidelines and gets 25, 35 tons of cassava per hectare, that is profitable business. And that's the same story for soybean, for maize, for yam, for beans, for plantain and banana. These are the crops we work on. So my message today is IITA is open and ready to partner with businesses all across Nigeria. We welcome them to our headquarters in Ibadan, to our offices in Kano, Abuja, and One.
OPEC oil output rose in June by 280,000 barrels per day to a 2017 high, as further recovery in supply from the two member countries exempted from the production cutting deal offset strong compliance. Well, according to a survey, June's biggest rise came from Nigeria, while the second biggest increase was from Libya. Nigeria's crude output is expected to rise further in the coming weeks, as planned exports in August are scheduled to reach 2 million barrels per day. And just last year, OPEC announced a production target of 32.5 million barrels per day, which was based on low figures from Libya and from Nigeria. Thanks for watching Business News Tonight. I'm Anne Nwawadu. The rest of the news continues now with Millicent.
Many thanks, Anne. The Lagos State government has launched the Cleaner Lagos Initiative and the Lagos State Environmental Sanitation Corps to help achieve a clean and flood-free state. According to the Deputy Governor of the state, the Kick Against Indiscipline Brigade has been transformed to the newly employed Corps members, which will ensure environmental laws in the state are strictly adhered to. The event took place at Agege Stadium.
This is the Agege Stadium in Lagos, Nigeria, but it's not for a sporting activity that this gathering is. It's the inauguration of the Lagos Environmental Sanitation Corps, designed to ensure cleanliness of the state and help to tackle the problem of environmental nuisance. Present here executive officials of the state, invited guests, traditional rulers and indigents.
Thank you for helping Lagos.
The arrival of the Deputy Governor, Mrs. Oluranti Adebule, kick-starts the event. She inspects the Guard of Honor in the company of the State Commissioner for Environment.
The luggage, which take off with 920 corps members, has been established to assist in monitoring and enforcing of environmental laws. It will also help the Public Utilities Monitoring and Assurance Unit, PUMA, in the enforcement of payment of the Public Utility Levy. The agency shall monitor and maintain surveillances along highways, streets, and public amenities, as well as regularly report any breach of the provisions of the law.
A deputy governor then takes to the stage and says the state will continue to implement creative ideas that will change the face of Lagos and generate income as well.
Sanitation is a priority for our administration, as it's important for maintaining a secure and more prosperous state. The new initiative will usher in a new, financially viable and technologically driven subsector to the Lagos State economy, creating new businesses and job opportunities, including over 40,000 direct and indirect jobs with high poverty alleviation emphasis to serve as a model for the entire country.
The Lagos State Environmental Sanitation Corps is kicking off with 920 members, and it has been established to assist in monitoring and enforcing environmental laws and also ensure the payment of public utility levies.
The responsibility of securing life and property of Nigerians is not those of the security agencies alone, but also responsibility of everyone. This is according to the Ondo State Police Public Relations Officer during a security walk embarked on by men of different security agencies in the state. During the same exercise in Umuahia, the Abia state capital, the men warned criminally minded people to relocate from the state or be ready to face the music. The rallying point is Oba Adeshida Road in Akure, the Ondo State capital, where men of the Nigerian Army, Nigeria Police Force, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Peace Corps, and even some members of the National Youth Service Corps set out on a walk around the state capital. The essence of this, they say, is to sensitize members of the public of their readiness to combat crime and criminality in every part of the state, even as the state government assures them of every support.
It is a work for oneness, a work for cooperation, a work for unity, a work for amity, a work for camaraderie among all the both the military and the paramilitary agencies in the state. It is a way of telling the public that togetherness, we are one, and we are ready more than ever before to ensure that peace and tranquility reign supreme in Ondo State.
Security is everybody's business, and we have to ensure that we provide information to security agencies. They cannot be everywhere, but it must be our neighbor's keeper. Wherever you see anything going wrong, call the attention of security agencies and they will respond quickly.
The case is not any different in Abia, where the men walk around Umuahia, the state capital. Here, they say the walk is important to demonstrate oneness among all the security agencies in the state.
In unity lies our strength, and that is the reason why we will continue to do all within our reach to ensure our statutory responsibility of protecting life and property is not to be taken for granted. We will do all within the orbits of the law to make sure Abia is safe.
Beyond these exercises, the security personnel are assuring members of their respective communities to do all within their power to protect lives and property wherever they are.